So we're back in the shop for part 2 of the fuel pump install. If you didn't see the last video, go check it out. So far I've got the pumps out of the fuel tank, and now we're going to be installing the new ones. So what we got here is the 2 original pumps, and then we got our 2 Walbro 255s here. I'm going to be pulling these out and putting these in, and then we'll go ahead and reinstall them in the fuel tank. Alright, so these are pretty much plug and play. You see we got the same plug there to plug right into the factory harness. Should be able to slide the factory hose right back on. So we're just going to have to pop these out, drop these in, and then go back and reinstall everything. So we see here he's got these little locking tabs holding it in. Just got to pop them aside. I'm going to go down here in the bottom and see if I can pry them loose. Alright, so there was pump number 1. Get there we go. Alright, hopefully the lawnmower isn't being too loud. You just gotta get in here, slowly work around it. We want to try to do it without, they are pretty stuck in there. We want to try to get them out without breaking into this plastic here. So there we got it popped loose, and it pulls right out the top. Hopefully you can see here, just simply got the pickup here. So there's the old, here's the new. So we're just going to go reverse of taking them out. Okay, so it looks like we got a slight difference in diameter here. Alright, so what I ended up doing is splitting the housing here so it could expand a little bit. Still holds the pump very nice and snug. The other thing I've noticed is that the OEM pump is a little bit shorter than the new pump. So I'm hoping that's not going to cause any clearance issues up top, but we'll wait and find out. Alright, it's got it slit a little bit. There it popped. Gotta line the little, if you look here, there's a little outlet here that's gotta fit down in the basket there. There we go. Popped right down in. Alright, so back over at the car again. We've got the 2 fuel lines here that we're gonna have to attach to the top of the fuel pumps. So what I'm gonna do is cut a little bit of the end off that I had damaged taking them off, and hopefully I can do it. Don't cut fuel lines like that at home. See if I can get just a little bit of sure that doesn't fall in the fuel tank. Alright, so that gives us a little bit of a cleaner end there. Same with this one. Alright, there we go. Make sure we stick them through the top there on the right. Alright, so I got that pushed on there. I'm going to work it all the way down. And then tighten my hose clamp here. So I'm hoping that'll seal. It did get fairly nice and tight. But we'll give it a try. Worst case, we'll have to pull it back out and try something different. But generally so far I've never had this method fail, whereas using rubber hose, I've seen that fail quite a bit. Unless you get the real rubber hose that's meant to be submerged, you will end up having issues. I've reused all my lines on whether it was my Audi S4s and various other cars I worked on. And so far, I've never had any fuel issues from this method. Although this is by far probably the most questionable one I've had. I like using the pumps with the double or triple barbs, like the original ones, whereas these only had one. So fingers crossed it'll work. Next issue is going to be, will the taller pumps fit in the basket? What we need to do is make sure this return line, or actually I think it's the transfer line from the other side of the tank, gets seated down in where it belongs. So it's looking like my clamp is hitting the top hat here. So I either have to open the top hat to allow my clamp to seat down in there, or I will need to move my clamp to the top. Alright, so this is a very, very tight fit here. But I do think everything will work. No doubt it's a bit of a stretch. See if I can get this clamp reinstalled to hold my lines in place. It just presses in, just like that. Alright, so here's what we ended up with. Got the clamp on top that actually helped push the cap down. Everything is really tight with the extra height of the pump. You can see we got a slight gap there from the other clamp is also up against. Here we can see the pump connector there, electrical connector is actually coming up through here. But I think everything's going to work. Going to see if we can get the top hat on next. Got the smaller hole for the one without the spring, and then the other hole for the one with the spring. Before we lock anything, we want to make sure we can get everything plugged in correctly. That one snapped in, very good. This one sneaks down under the lines like this. Snap. There, we heard that one pop in. Perfect. Let's recheck that again. Make sure all my lines go in there nice. We'll just work this back down. It should snap in. There we go. That is on. Get this. Here it popped. Perfect. There we go. There was a big pop we needed. Sure everything looks good there with our pickup. Alright, so we are completely reassembled. The only thing we gotta do yet is put our fuel level sender on. Again, that one slides right down in this weight along the side here. Just carefully work that down in without just like that. And then there's one plug right underneath to plug it into. Snaps right in. And this little cover I popped off. Pops right in like that. Okay, so our sending unit's ready to go back in. Seems like everything's the way it should be. First thing we're going to do is push that in like that. What you want to be careful is when you set it down in that you don't end up bending this arm. If you bend it in and it wouldn't be able to go all the way down, it'll actually stop. And if it were to catch, say right here, your tank will continue to read quarter or half full even though you're possibly empty, leaving you stranded beside the road. So definitely don't want that to happen. Carefully drop it down in. Just like that. Easy as that. Sets right down in there. Still had our seal and everything in there. Grab my locking ring here. Alright, so the other day when I was finishing up my pump install, my camera died, so we're back again today to finish it up. I did get everything in and did fire it up. Everything is working great. So now I'm just going to show you guys finishing everything up. Got to put all the matting, the grommets and everything back into place, and then put the seats on, and then we'll fire it up and see what she sounds like. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be doing here, I'm going to go ahead and stick the wiring harness through the mat, and then through the plate there, and then I'm going to plug it back in. Hopefully I can do this one-handed here. Got to line those little pins there, and then you just push forward. You can see it pulls it down and locks it in all in one motion. There we go. Got it all lined up. Got it on the right way. Ready to put her Alright, so next thing here, gonna tuck the, kind of wind the excess wire down in there. This grommet has to, let's see if I can show you here. It's got two separate grooves here. This groove here has got to lock into the metal cover, and then this big groove is going to lock into the mat. So it's kind of got a double seal going on. So you kind of get it started. Alright, so I have to use two hands for that. Here you can see how it's supposed to look all done, all sealed in nice. We just got to tuck this little lip of the mat there under the carpet, the whole way across. Alright, and there is one unused little harness here. I'm guessing this possibly could be for rear heated seats. Not sure, but it's not used on my car. Alright, so we're ready to go grab the seat. Alright, so we got the seat here. Pretty much same as taking it out. We're going to have to pull the seat belts up through here. Maybe I can show you. See, we got the holes there for the seat belts. They're down there, so I'm gonna have to fish them up through there and lock it in. So I'm gonna start by kind of pushing them down, getting the seat somewhat tucked down in there. You know what? The center seat belt, there's a little divot here that sits in, and then these gotta come up through there. Hopefully you can see them coming up through there as you work the seat back. They kind of find their way up through there. Once we got it tucked in where it should go, you just put some weight on it. And it pops in. So that is the seat installed. And yes, it is very dirty. My whole car is incredibly dirty. Drove it a little bit without those covers on. It just filled the car up with dust. So we're going to need to do a major detail on the whole car. Get it looking a little bit more presentable. Alright, well, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for the fuel pump DIY. Hopefully it'll be helpful to you guys, and you can save yourself some money and upgrade your car. But now I think it's time to hear how it sounds. Before I do that, remember, if we can hit 500 subscribers by the end of this month, the month of June, I will take the car out to the dyno and see what it puts down to the rear wheels on upgraded pumps, full E85, and pretty much stock exhaust, rear muffler delete, and primary cat delete. So let's do this. Until next time, remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Mm-hmm.